Alright guys, I have another trick for you in order you want to improve your music productions, and I want to show you how I solved the challenge I had with the guitars in Open Doors. Because my initial goal was to make the guitars sound super energetic and powerful, just like in the grunge rock tracks that we still know today from the 90s, like Smells Like Teen Spirit or, I don't know, Soundgarden tracks, Pearl Jam tracks and stuff like that. And I have some small tricks for you that could maybe help you achieve that. So let's get started. I give you a short intro to the sound. All right, and the guitar solo sound like that. So you hear there's a lot of energy in there. And there is actually a very simple trick to achieve that. And I will also tell you where I got the trick from. I got it from Butch Vig, who is actually the famous producer of Nevermind, the most influential grunge rock, if not rock album in history. And his trick was very simple, and you can find a YouTube video where he explains it in detail. Double the guitars. Overdub the guitars, not only double, maybe triple or quadruple them. This means you're gonna record your guitars not only once, you gotta record each guitar track at least double, maybe 3 times or 4 times. So if you have studio time and that doesn't matter, or if you're recording in your home studio, you just play the same guitar parts 3 or 4 times so that you can put them next to each other, on top of each other, a track each in the production. If you cannot do that, you can also double the guitar track you already have if you bought it or if you're using a sample, and then you double the track and then you change it a little bit. So I will show you how I did it. I have 2 guitars here and I doubled each guitar. This is the rhythm guitar. And I have the same rhythm guitar here on track 25 as well. Okay, what I did was, and this is the second trick, you pan the guitars, one to the left, one to the right. And if you have even more, you can do them all 4, but you also all have to place them in a little bit different positions, so the whole track gets a bit more wide, more open, more dimensional, more has more space. If you have only one track, what you need to do is you can just duplicate it, as I show you here in Ableton, and then you have 2 tracks which sound identical. So what you do is you pan them somewhere else, left, and then you could actually put one of the tracks a tiny bit out of place, like that. This is like 2 milliseconds or something. Okay, and then what you can do is detune. You can do that here if you double click on the sample. You go to detune it by like 3, I think 50 is a half tone. Okay, if you don't do that so what you will notice is you will get something like a chorus effect. Actually, the chorus effect doesn't do anything else but putting the faces out of each other. Okay. You can experiment one a little back, one a bit further. Okay, and if you triple the tracks or quadruple the tracks, you can do them, you detune them a little bit, like 3 steps up, and the other track 3 step down, then 5 step up and 5 step down. This is, by the way, also the way that synthesizers are made more intense, more in volume. They're doubled and like detuned a bit, which makes the sound more full, more intense. So we don't do anything else. It's all the same sound waves, you know? All right, but I did this twice, and then I have the second guitar. And the other one, I doubled. I put them on a single track too, and also again I panned them right and left. And what I also did here, I played this track 1 octave higher. So I played the same tones, but 1 octave higher to get a little bit more bright effects. This is like more a matter of your composition. But the way I achieved a more full sound is like double it. So let's look at the single tracks. There's also ways to do it more intense. I would say there are like 4 different kinds of effects you can use to make it more intense. I deactivate them all, so we can listen to the track itself. This is like the naked track without any effects, and with the effects it sounds like that. It has about the same level, but it has more juice on it. Okay, and the way I did it was with 3 effects. One effect, and this is highly recommended, especially if you work with an audio interface and are a home recording producer, you get one of these emulators that emulate amplifiers. Ableton has them built in. They're called amp, and the effect looks like that. Okay, you have some variation here, and you can change the sound a bit, but this is also already a pretty good amplifying emulator. But there are also like third-party plugins, like for example THU by Slate, and this is a cool plugin if you want to get a large variety of amplifying emulators. Yeah, they're actually by Overloud, and if you click on the plugin, you can see that you have like dozens of amplifiers, and they're all like original amplifiers which are emulated, and they get very close to the original. You can watch comparing tests on YouTube, and you also get a couple of really cool effect racks like distortion and a fuzz, a delay, you get equalizers, you get phasers, you get octavers. So this is a very large variety, and they have some effect racks that give you certain sounds. For example, so you can choose rock guitar and then, for example, solid British solo, and you get like this rack with a wah-wah, with a diode, with an overloud amplifier, and some other effects. And you've got that, you get these characteristic sounds with it, and you don't have to experiment by yourself. All right, but then you can also like fine-tune the stuff just as you like it. It's a pretty cool plugin, and it's like $12 or $16 a month, and you get all of these other plugins with the subscriptions. Pretty good stuff. So, but I have this sound. So to further enhance it, I use the compressor, and people who are a bit experienced know, of course, what compressors are. If you don't know what a compressor is and what it does, please go to YouTube and check some videos that explain it. It's one of the most important effects that you use in mixing music. And what it basically does, it takes the signal and like makes louder the more quiet sounds. So, or if it's in the other way around, it makes more quiet the louder sounds. So it makes more even leveled every signal that comes in. And the result is you have a more even sound that is more predictable, and most of the times you can hear the sound more detailed and more consistently throughout the whole production. I put this here. It actually sounds like it's a bit more quiet, but this is only because of the outgoing signal. Is like you can put the outgoing signal up. Okay, but the sound is more even. That is what I wanted to achieve. The third effect you can use is an equalizer. Also a very common, of course, effect or method to mix, but the power or the energy of a sound comes mostly in a certain frequency. For example, in the kick drum, it's the lower frequencies, of course, around like, I don't know, 30 to 150 hertz maybe, and the bass a bit higher. And for the guitars, it's mostly like in the so-called mid-range, that you have to be very, very careful with in production, because it can create muddiness if you have too much mid-range in your mix. But the guitars are really having their belly there, their volume there. I can give you a demo why I increased the frequencies around 250 to about 900. So you can clearly hear that you have more vibes in there. It's more coming from the hip, you know, and yeah. So, but be careful with the mid-range, especially the vocals. Male vocals are often the same frequency range as the guitars. You have to take care that they don't conflict each other. So you can still hear them both. But if you try it a bit, you find a space for like both. It shouldn't be a problem, but take your time for it, because this can cause muddiness. So the third thing you can do is using a saturator, which is also a common way, and it's kind of comparable with an amplifier, because it puts some more drive to the sound. I can show you here, give you a little demo. I didn't use saturators because I'm happy with this with the sound of the emulators already, but this is the effect you get from a saturator. So you also have to adjust the output, because if you add drive, of course you add also volume, so you have to turn down the volume as well. But overall you get more drive, and you can even influence the curve and make it more harsh. Yeah, you can even like duplicate these effects to increase them. Yeah, but these are more or less the tricks I used for open doors, and I can only recommend you to experiment with them as well, because it's really important that when you use guitars, they get that energy, because this is what matters if you especially do indie rock or grunge music, but also if you use guitars in a creative way, you want that energy. And with these tricks, you probably get a big step forward. At least I hope so. And yeah, I look forward to listen to the tracks you do, so you can drop them in the comments. And of course, please support me with a like, subscribe the channel if you like the content. Looking forward to get in touch, guys. Have a nice one.